I feel good. I'm anxious. I always get a little nervous before a show. Okay, so the match before mine is about to end. All right, let's see how we go. Good morning, good morning. It is a cold morning here in Akron. The car is telling me that it is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which for my friends around the world that talk in Celsius, that is, let me work it out, carry the two, freaking freezing. In fact, we had a bit of a snow storm this morning, but it didn't seem to settle in, which is lucky for us because it could have got pretty bad. So whilst it's cold outside, it's warm inside the car, and we're headed to a warm bowling center where it's show day. Show days are fun days, but there are a few things that you need to do prior to the show. The first is we have a little bit of media. We have some interviews with the commentators. So Randy Peterson, Rob Stone, and Kimberly Pressler will do interviews with all of the players. And then straight after that, there's a practice session on the TV pair. And then after that will be the first show, and I'm in the second show this evening. So it's going to be a long day. My show starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and the shows go for a couple of hours. So you've got a long day preparing, getting ready, and also the anxiety of, waiting to get on the show. It builds up, and so I'm going to do my obligations, and then I'm going to have a bit of a rest and kind of let all that out and get prepared. I much prefer to bowl in the mornings for TV show, or at least lunchtime, because you can sleep in a little bit, but then you don't have too long to wait till the show starts. But when they're at night, you're excited, you want to get out there, and you got to wait. So we'll get stuck into all that stuff today. We'll hopefully have a brilliant evening, and if I get through tonight's matches, I get to come back and do it all again tomorrow for the final 5, where the tournament will be won.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, I have a ball right there that I've been wanting to sign.
Yeah,
and I would.
do it. Awesome.
I just didn't. You can sign right here, as big as possible.
Okay.
I do have to tell you, you are one of the 2 people who got me into bowling.
Oh,
you
thanks,
and
man.
my best friend. I appreciate it very much.
More than welcome.
Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Keep practicing.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the championship pair, and this is the set. I'm going to walk you through the set a little bit so you can kind of get a feel for what it looks like on the other side of the Fox cameras, and so you can kind of see what it looks like. Okay, so obviously the championship pair, you've got lights all above us, all around us. We've got our signage, but here's where all the important people are sitting. So right behind me here is where the Fox and PBA staff sit while the matches are happening. That's where pretty much the director is sitting, it's where the tournament director is sitting, and we have the foul line judge as well, plus all of the sideline reporter Kimberly Pressler will be sitting over here, media, reporters will be sitting on this side, watching the matches, writing it down, keeping up with what's going on. All of the tournament director staff will have headsets on, talking to the camera crew, which is some of the boys sitting right here. And so between them, the director, the TV truck out the back, which maybe we'll go and have a look at as well, they're all communicating to get the right shots, to communicate to the players when it's time to throw our shots, and keep up with what's going on in the crowd and everything else. So it gets pretty hectic. We'll go for a little walk down the back and we'll show you where the commentators are sitting, which I always think is one of the coolest views on the show. Right, so this is the commentators booth. If we have a look down here, you'll see this is what Randy, Rob, and this week we've got Norm Duke in the booth. So this is what they get to see, which I think is kind of cool, and the view that they get. So check that view out. And down the end here, we have Specto, which is an amazing piece of technology brought to us by Kegel. And it is the lane tracking system. So it allows the players, the commentators, and the fans, when you're watching on TV, the ball track. So you know what board we're hitting, how fast we're throwing it, an estimate of rev rate, and it gives us all of that details. And all of that comes up on this screen here, which is then translated and given to the commentators for some data, some information, a talking point, and then later on, we the players can also go back through the show and we can have a look at our stats for the show, how we bowled, what we did, what bad shots, good shots. And so it's a really cool piece of technology, and we get it at every PBA show. So that's been a huge advancement on the shows. It's been able to have that ball tracker, because it's always difficult to see how accurate the players on tours are. But now with Specto, you can see to the millimeter what we're doing.
Vegemite sandwich.
Oh, at work.
What is it?
Yeah, what is it?
2 pieces of bread.
Vegemite.
Vegemite?
Vegemite in the middle.
What is that? What's
Spread.
Vegemite?
It's the most disgusting thing you could ever eat.
It's like Nutella.
I'm so glad you said that. I didn't want to offend you.
Everyone I know back home likes it, and
it's nasty.
I hate it.
When Rob asked about how would you describe your 2023, you said close. And even though I'm in agreement with that, did you see the Twitter stuff that was going on about you not doing well this week or since the start of the season, like with Lucas and stuff? And
Twitter.
And I guess my whole point is, even though I think it's because people expect you to be up here every single time, what are your thoughts on that? Because there was a lot of back and forth about it.
I've said this before. I feel like every other player is immune to the backlash for a bad week or two. EJ had a poor performance and no one seemed to really worry about it. But if I have a bad one, the conversation goes into what's wrong with him. Is the rain over?
Is he done?
Is he
Yes,
done?
yeah.
And
I started that one. Qualifying round 1, 58th place. Qualifying round 2, 51st. Then things seemed to click in, at least numerically, 20th to 22nd to 8 to 6. So what changed?
I would recommend you watch my YouTube vlogs, Rob, and subscribe, and you'll see that in-depth behind-the-scenes story.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. What vlogs is it that you are speaking of?
Mate, if I'm really honest,
YouTube, what is that?
one of the hardest parts of our game, and something that I highly wish they would change, is they make us bowl multiple times a day. I don't think there's any other sport where you compete 2 rounds of something in a day. Very rare if there is. And so the one thing that I've always thought is, whether you're going good or great, after each round, we just don't get time to re-strategize. We don't get time to decompress. And I guess it's fine if you're 300 over and you're leading, you want to get straight back out there. But for everyone else, it's tough. So day 1 started off really rough. And so you've got to be able to come in, 2 hours later, you've got to eat, you've got to prepare, you've got to maybe drill another bowling ball, you've got to get yourself ready, you've got to go and sign all the fans' autographs, and you haven't got time to be like, all right, I'm back in here, super relaxed, decompressed. You're kind of still hanging on to a lot of the stuff that happens in the first round. So for me, it came in, it was like, I half decompressed, but as soon as I came back out here, the tension was pretty full. So I had a good night's sleep the first night, came in the next day for that third round, knowing I now needed a huge number, but I felt completely relaxed and just, I unloaded a lot of that tension, you know, with a good night's sleep. So we're about to start the practice session on the TV pair. We get half an hour to kind of go through your equipment, see what's working, what you like, kind of strategize a little bit now. And so when you come back for the show itself, you have somewhat of an idea of what the lanes are doing when there's lights, with the blue oil, which is unique to the PBA Tour shows, having the colored oil. And so that affects ball motion. And in my experience, in the, I don't know how many shows I've made, the TV pair has almost never played the same as it has during the week. So these practice sessions are, yeah, they're kind of critical to get a feel for it. Okay, so that practice session is now done, and I think it was very valuable. The blue oil, the lights, definitely makes a bit of a difference. So now, after talking with the tour reps, throwing a bunch of bowling balls in a different part of the lane with different speeds and hand releases, I will formulate a strategy, and we'll definitely see how that plays out. In moments like these, like when you're on the show, it's really handy to have like plan B, plan C, plan D, because you still don't know what you're going to get. Even though we just practice on it with the same guys that will more than likely be on the show, we do have one extra joining us. But you know, when the place is packed and you've had another strip and rerun of the oil for the show before us and their practice session, there's always a slight variance. So having those multiple strategical plans is really important. I feel good. I'm anxious. I always get a little nervous before a show, but I have quite a bit of time still, 4 hours. So I'm going to go back to my hotel room, call home, and just kind of decompress and just let all the anxiety out, and come back when it's time to bowl on these lanes for score. Okay, so the first show tonight is nearly over. We have some practice pairs lit up so we can kind of get warmed up. I think once this show is done, they re-oil the lanes and we go straight out there for our practice on the pair. So we're not allowed to bowl during the match. So when the matches stop, we can throw some shots. So I'll just get a little loose. The vibe in here is pretty cool. It's packed. If you look around, it's absolutely packed, so that's great. Now it's time to put on a show for them. My grip has just come out a little bit. So I'm just going to glue it back in. That's it. Hopefully that holds. So the match before mine is about to end, and hopefully one or two ideas of mine look pretty good, and then it's going to be about hitting my spot, hoping the pins fall, and doing it for 2 full games. All right, let's see how we go.
Gentlemen, let's hear it for a big congratulations to Andrew Anderson. Rolling out of Orange Tinted Lanes in Orange, New South Wales, Australia, number 6 seed, Jason Bell.
So that was a bit of a nail biter. The first game against Andrew was, I performed really well, but obviously Andrew had a pretty tough time, and when you see your opponent struggling a little bit, it certainly relaxes you a little bit. But going into that last match with Kyle, I was just hoping that I didn't have to move left on the left lane. I really liked my look, so I was hoping it would just stay there. But as soon as I got onto that lane, it just started to hook a little early. I caught a couple of breaks. He caught one huge one there in the 10th, and then I thought, for sure, when you catch a hit like that in the 10th, you're gonna win. And he threw it amazing. 10 pin stood. I get to come back tomorrow, and that's how the game goes. It's not always fair, but it'll all even out in the end. So that's what I think anyway. And now I get to go and get something to eat, straight to bed. It's going to be a restless night's sleep. Got a big show tomorrow to get onto, and so let's do it. Super pumped. You can probably tell by the smile on my face. It's nice to get through this evening's show. Now we're going to really make it count tomorrow.